And here we are with another coffee break. Hope you have your coffee with you. I'm just sitting down to let you know what's going on. I got you on the selfie stick so it's a little more sturdy today, and here we go. Today's topic was brought to you by one of you. I love it when you guys request a specific subject, and today it is chronic pain and relationships, and in brackets, or lack thereof. Why do I say that? I say it because he did, the person who requested it. Sorry, I don't shout out to nameless. I can't remember. I should have looked it up. I'm really sorry. But the important thing is, what do we mean by the lack of relationships? What does chronic pain have to do with relationships? And is there something we can do about the negative part of this? And it's why it's being brought up. There is a large negative to relationships when you're a chronic pain sufferer. So let's get into it. The biggest problem with it, even my own doctor once said when I asked him about a disability card for my car, I don't have it anymore, was he said, do you consider yourself disabled? I says, sir, I may not sit in a wheelchair, but I have pain at a level of 8 or 9 almost all the time, almost every day. It stops me from working. My work has agreed that I can't work. It stops many of my friendships and other abilities. It stops my ability of being a good father. Well, not a good father, an active father. It stops me in almost every form of my life. So is it a disability? It sure is. It's an invisible one. And the doctor, shame on them for saying so. Yeah, I'm disabled. Am I as disabled as somebody in a wheelchair? No. It's a different form. But disability is disability. The inability to do normal day-to-day activities to the point that it interferes with your life. The way it interferes with relationships is rather interesting. I don't blame the people. Let me just say that I blame my pain to some degree for the loss of my marriage. I blame more my acceptance of pharmaceuticals to cover that pain, because it just made me grumpy and mean, and I pushed my wife away. Other relationships, my child. I grew up taking my 3 kids. I was a single father raising 3 kids, 2 girls and 1 boy, from basically babies to grown-ups. And I did Cub Scouts, brownies, t-ball, soccer. I was busy almost every night of the week, and I worked full-time. I was able to keep up to that. Now, I'm lucky if I can see my son more than just on the weekend, because the weekend tears me apart. Because I want to do things with him. I want to take him to the park, and then I do a few things and I hurt myself. So already, your relationship with your children becomes strained. They're wonderful. They don't complain that you can't do certain things. But I'm sure deep inside that I'm getting a little sad, because I love my son so much, and he's 8, and he's dealing with a father who can hug him a lot. But so those familial relationships suffer when you have chronic pain. The people who love you are wonderful, and they won't push you away. But those who have a difficult time with you, maybe at first, will have a more difficult time because you have pain. The medication becomes even more difficult to understand, because if you medicate, you have choices. You have pharmaceuticals that will take most of the pain away, but create a situation whereby your own personality changes, not for the better. it really changes a lot. That can strain a relationship. Or you can go to cannabis, and that too can strain a relationship if your partner doesn't believe in it. Your personality is going to, if anything, improve a little, but it's going to stay the same. You're going to stay being you, but depending on how your partner is about cannabis, that can cause problems too. So what can we do? Well, first of all, you can't do anything about taking your pain away. You have to make the decisions of what works best for you, and you have to learn to accept your pain. I accepted mine quite a while ago, but I'm going through changes and I'm having a hard time accepting it again. So this is also advice for me. Et tu, Brute? You know, so make good choices about your medication. Be careful when you take it, how you take it. Be cognizant that others around you sometimes will forget that you're sick. You don't have physical, visual cues that remind them you're sick. So even somebody like your own son or wife or child or parent will forget that you're sick. Be cognizant of that. Give people a wide breath. Understand their lack of understanding of pain. If they don't have chronic pain, they cannot understand it. And we, as the one who's suffering, have to take that into consideration, to not get angry at somebody because they don't get it. They just don't get it. They can't get it. So let's have a discussion. Please, if you haven't subbed already, sub. I checked it, over 60% of my viewers are not subbed. So subscribe, please. And click the thumbs up and let's talk. What has it done to your relationship? Do you have any tips and tricks of repairing broken relationships because of chronic pain? Have I touched on all kinds of relationships? Do we want to talk about more? Let's keep this going. It may become a series. Who knows? Peace and cheers. Love and harmony.